Sonic the Hedgehog is one of the biggest video game franchises of all time. Ever since it was first released in 1991, it's entertained us to no end with its high-speed gameplay and amazing music.
Basically, there's not much else I can say about the series that hasn't already been said a million times. The only thing I can offer is an opinion. So, let's check out the first Sonic game on Sega Genesis.
Okay, so this is the very first Sonic game, and was released in 1991. Basically, the plot is that an evil scientist named Dr. Robotnik has captured all the land's innocent creatures, and it's up to you to defeat him and free all of nature's wildlife. It's really simple, and not complex at all, but it's still very original and great. The game's controls are basic. You can move about, jump, and spin on the ground if you hold down when running. Sonic was designed to be fast, and the levels fit perfectly with this theme of speed. There's loops, ramps, and many more features that make Sonic an awesome game. However, not all the levels are designed for speed though. Take Marble Zone for example. It gets rid of the fast-paced action and instead gives the player a series of basic puzzles to build up his puzzle-solving skill. I, for one, never liked this idea in Sonic, as it doesn't feel right as a puzzle game, mainly because they're slow and require deep thought, while the game was based on the idea of being fast and frantic. It doesn't help that Sonic feels a bit clumsy when performing slow actions. I mean, this is a Sonic game. When I play Sonic, all I want to do is just race through the levels. But no, not in Marble Zone. Another issue in the game are the random spike and spring traps, so those are the flaws, but overall, the gameplay is fun and addicting. The graphics are bright, colorful, and lively, and it looks really beautiful for the most part. The music is awesome. Overall, it's a great game, especially for being the first of its kind, so check it out. Alright, next we're going to take a look at Sonic 2 on Sega Genesis. Now if you thought the first game kicked ass, then man, you're in for a treat, because this one is far superior. The game is the same concept as the first one. Go through various zones and acts to battle Dr. Robotnik. Beat him, move on to the next zone. A variation between this game and the original, however, is the fact that this game has 2 acts to every zone instead of 3. This makes it nice since your scenery changes a lot more often. But don't worry, there's still plenty of levels to keep you busy. Sonic still moves at extreme speeds, but this time he's got a partner. This game introduces Tails to the series. Tails is a squirrel that follows Sonic around and helps him out by occasionally hitting an enemy. He basically does what Sonic does. If Sonic jumps, Tails jumps half a second later. This really comes in handy at times, especially since the damage that Tails takes, it doesn't hurt Sonic. Also, you gotta love the music. Overall, it's like the first game except twice as good. It's a solid sequel that was treated with great care and respect. So if you own a Sega Genesis, then this is a must-have. So check it out.
Now, we're going to take a look at the third Sonic game on Sega Genesis.
So this is Sonic 3 on Sega Genesis. The story in this game isn't all too different from the previous titles. Dr. Robotnik is out to gather all the animals on the island to make an army of unstoppable robots. You know, the usual stuff. The gameplay in this game isn't too difficult to master, although timing is the real challenge. The controls are simple. The A button is to jump, A up A does a special move. The main focus of this game is, again, speed, but, again, in some stages, you need to solve a puzzle in order to continue. It may involve jumping from platform to platform, or moving through an underwater maze. Sometimes the gameplay is easy, like in the very first set of levels, whereas it can be really downright hard, like in the last group of levels. The graphics and the Sonic sprite are even more updated than the previous versions. He's bluer and shinier than ever. The levels are still really bright and cheery, and the backgrounds totally rock. The enemies also look better. The animations on the power-up boxes have also been improved drastically. Also, so is the sound quality.
Overall, Sonic 3 is a pretty good game. I mean, it's not as good as Sonic 2, but it's a little better than the original though, so definitely check it out. Well, that's the Sonic Trilogy on Sega Genesis. I'm aware that there's other Sonic games on Genesis, such as Sonic Spinball, Sonic 3D Blast, and more. And not to mention all the other Sonic games that are on other consoles, like Sonic CD on the Sega CD, which is debatably the best Sonic game of all time. It's definitely my favorite. Also, Sonic Adventures on the Dreamcast. But if we went through all of them, then this video would be never ending, so I think this is an appropriate place to stop. So, I'm Twisted Nick, and I'll see you later.